What up, everybody? What up, what up, what up, what up? Y'all know what time it is. It's Hot Mic Friday. What up? Think I got everything going on right here. Let me see. Y'all bear with me as I work my hand. Yeah, what up, what up? Appreciate everybody for showing up. Let me see, do a pop-up? Yeah, I pops up. Guess what, y'all? It's Hot Mic Friday. Appreciate everybody for showing up tonight. Y'all know what time it is. Big shout out to my main man, Mr. Dickie Foster in the house. My man, Derek Lockett in the house. Representing my peeps. Heart and Finish Kennels coming up in here. What up, fam? The incomparable Mr. Eli Monster. My man Viking Royal Family, I see you, fam. Style, yo, my man Styles, Kennels in the house. Yo, what up, Tony Montana? Inglewood Kennels representing, what up, fam? Yo, my man Mike Lee. Yo, Bulldogs in the house. What up, fam? Let me see who else. I don't want to miss nobody right quick here. Yo, Melee new suspect Kennels in the house. What up, fam? Let me see who else I got here. My man, Mr. Burning Star in the house. What up, fam? Yo, my man, Double M Tesbo in the house. What up, fam? Let me see here. Yo, K-Walk. I see you, fam. Robo. What up, fam? To all my people out there on the back street, what up, fam? Y'all know what time it is. Roll them up. Get that drink together. Get in that chair. Sit back. Relax. Enjoy the show. Hey, first thing I want to do is thank everybody for your comments, representing. You know, from my show last week, I'm going to be trying to do this again today because Mo's still out. But look here, don't forget to hit them like buttons. Don't forget to support the channel. Hey, one of the things I wanted to talk about tonight, you know how we always, you know, it's easy to always find a problem. And we can represent and see a problem, and everybody always can question the problem. And most of the time, when you see something wrong, you know, you're going to talk about it. But one thing I don't see a lot of, and maybe that's why I'm going to talk about it tonight, because we always talk about quality bull. Now, I'm taking this back to in our time, because most of the time when we be having these conversations, Mo, he always take you back in our time. So most of his conversation is always going to be based on our time. But when we're talking about quality of the dogs and how do you get quality anymore based on the way the times are, you can't check them the right way, you know, especially for us what we consider the right way, because back then in our time, gentlemen, you have to understand, you know, no knock on y'all, but our intentions was totally different than some of y'all's. Back in our day, back in our time, back in our era, and way before us, these dogs had a purpose. And our purpose is so much different than what the purpose would be today. Now, yeah, we talk about quality because for us, and based on our purpose, it was, you know, we had a certain standard of what we were dealing with. You know, what type of dogs we was going to have on our yard, what kind of dogs we were going to be introducing to the public. And then when I say the public, I mean our public is our community, you know, our dog brethren. And so our dogs represented us. You know what I'm saying? That's what the game was about back then. When you put your name on it, It wasn't about talking. Back in our time, we didn't have to brag on our dogs. Most of the people, generally, if they were doing all the bragging, 9 times out of 10, they didn't have shit. You know, you talking, but you don't have shit. You know what I mean? Go get some of that shit. You know what I mean? Because back then, we didn't have to talk when you got a yard full of dogs. All you got to do is call your weight and it's on and popping. And brothers would clean your whole yard out. But there's a difference when you start talking about quality of the dogs back then based on our purpose. We created a line of going hard dogs based off a certain purpose, a certain standard. We dealt with traits. What was one of our traits? Hard mouth, crazy ass, back end dogs. Now, I couldn't get my computer right, acting right today. So, and then with most computer not here, I can't actually show you what I want to show you. As far as if you look at our yard and most of the in other people's dogs that had come from our yard or were bred off of things that we bred, they all kind of looked alike. Remember, everything on our yard, 98% of it all looked alike. All had red nose, all had either buck ears or the butterfly. The airplane ears. Everything with a red nose. Then when we started making our outs, did we take away from the quality we were looking for? No, we basically were adding other things because, if you look at our paperwork and our dogs, none of them dogs were inbred dogs. We line bred and we outcross. 3 in, 1 out. Why would we keep coming up with the same look? How all these dogs bred different type of ways and other males being brought into to the program, but all of them looked alike. They weren't inbred dogs. What I'm trying to tell you about today is just looking at the way we did things and how we did things. Breeding is almost like a science. The reason them dogs were able to look alike because evidently the trait, the gene pool, was strong. Regardless of what we did, why were we sticking with the ones who had those certain traits? They didn't come out the mama going into the stifle. All you can do when you breed these dogs and you look at those litters, all you can do is look. By just looking at the breed and the puppies, when they first get in the world and you see them noses, you automatically know what part of the gene pool is controlling. You already know what the gene pool that's dominating that litter. Most of the dogs that we bred, our gene pool was always dominated by the going hard side. Now remember, I call it going hard side because most of the shit that we bred, we put our name on it. You don't hear me talking about it was Mayday or it was Buck or we don't get into that. We can tell you it's awful. This, which is red boy bred, some yellow or some red boy bred into this and that. But that's what's in the bloodline. When them dogs is on our yard, it ain't about all that. Them dogs on the yard, them are going hard dogs. Yeah, them going hard dogs, they're going to look alike and they're going to act alike and they take care of their business alike because the only thing that's going to be on the yard is all going to be consistent of what made the standard to where you still getting fed. The quality of your work determines the quality of the kennel. You don't know that when you're dealing with puppies. But you have to believe in yourself and believe in your knowledge that based on what you do, what you're expecting when you get what you get, then time will tell. And that's what I'm trying to get at as far as we always talk about quality. Okay, so let's take out our grading standard. You know, what I mean, take out our grading standard, what we base the quality of the dog on. Because y'all don't have the same ability to do what we did when we were trying to determine the quality of the dogs. But one thing, even if I took that out, I still had them. I still had certain things that worked for us, that actually work for us to this day, without having to go through all that. And that's basically on our standard of how we bred and then what we were breeding. And again, remember, I don't talk about bloodlines. I just say these are going hard dogs. Why are they going hard dogs? Because regardless of if going hard's in it more than 2 times, you're going to look at that dog and you're going to be like, dang, that dog was bred to so-and-so. They got black faces, but, you know, this is a red dog, and then you got a black face, but then you got a whole litter, maybe one black faced dog, and the rest of the litter is all red-nosed males and females. That has been done like that for years, not just on our yard, but other people's yards. That's a trait. And when you talk about a going hard dog, the first thing that comes to mind, if you know the dogs, for us back in that day, it was evident that going hard dogs were stifle dogs. Not ear riding, not chest dogs, but stifle dogs. To be a stifle dog and to be able to get back there regardless of what it took, that dog had to have a lot more ability, a lot more smartness, a lot more having the mind to adapt. And then have the ability to, when you got back there, to do damage. Those things are in what I consider the traits, the gene pool, the makeup. You stuck to something and you never got away from it. All you're doing is adding things to make certain things better. So you take out that. To me, that's something that's automatic. How do we know? Remember, we checked our shit. That's how we know we were on the right track. And being that we were on the right track, we only kept the best of the best. And I don't want y'all to get into that concept that we believed a certain type of way. We only believed in breeding the champions and grand champions, y'all. That's not a knock on how you breed. Back then for us, we were breeding what we were seeing. You know, when people, you know, when you out there and you moving around and you see something you like, I got to have some of that. You want to incorporate in it. What you bring in, is it going to dominate something that you already have? Well, if it's going to dominate and come in and change your whole outlook on things. Like when we took when we took Yellow Buck stuff, that Stone City stuff, and crossed it with the Mayday stuff, you'll notice we still came out with red-nosed dogs. Still. But now they got buck ears. But they still got a Mayday body. Still big-boned dogs that when they were in match condition, they still seem to tower over every dog. Like, to me, Brat, 37, 38, but Brat was big compared to all the other dogs that she went into. Buck Rogers, he was big compared to everything else he was going into, but they're at their weight. Consistency. Mikey, look at Psycho, Red Man. All these dogs were all basically off a line. Like, take Red Ace. Red Ace was a red boy, basically a red boy dog. Bred into Charlie, Jeep's brother. Again, the reason I bring this up, because if you look at Jeep and you look at Charlie, totally two different looking dogs. Then you turn around and look at Ace. Ace had them butterfly ears, but even though Red Ace was brindle, red brindle, Charlie was a dark brindle. But then you come out with dogs like, Brat. When you bred Red Ace, puppy to Mayday. Totally two different dogs, but the look never changed. The fighting style, Ace was already a back end dog. What did Mayday bring to us? Mayday brought roughness. What did the rascal stuff bring to us? The rascal stuff, to me, it was good, because I know that Rascal was going to bring us on to that Eli. Remember, we had Eli prior to those were the first dogs we had. We had Eli. But Rascal bought a different thing with it, because to me, Rascal dogs were smarter. The problem is, the Rascal dogs bought that intensity, but they didn't bring that crazy. To me, Rascal dogs, they think too damn much. If you look at some of the great Rascal dogs, think about it. They had they always got that one loss. And I just put that out there because you got to remember, Pretty Mama was an all red boy dog. What does Red Boy bring? Well, we got Red Boy over here on a whole lot of our other shit. And guess what? The Red Boy trait stuck in there strong. Regardless of how we did it, we still had that Red Boy trait. We weren't that lucky with the Rascal shit. Because if you think about Crybaby was a beast. But Crybaby was nothing like the shit. There was a reason why we called her Crybaby. Because the bitch was, you would think it was a baby crying when she seen a dog. Very smart dog. Very, I would say, she wasn't one of them that went into the back end. She was one of them that did a lot of shoulder damage. And get in your face. See, there's certain traits that we started getting away from. The reason I bring this up, because I'm taking you down, that generational change as we grew in the game. Our dogs were supposed to get better as we grew in the game. And how do we know? Because success is only going to be based off of not what we do, but what our dogs do. So as we grew, look at the changes we made. But think about what happened when we locked in on what was actually working. See, you got a whole lot of going hard dogs out there compared to, even to this day. Somebody sent me a pedigree that just blew my mind. That they still breeding this shit. And it still looks the same. That's what I couldn't get my computer to act right to pull it up. But even in today's time, done the right way, they still gonna look the same, and they still gonna act the same. They still gonna have the same type of bodies. And based on how they're being bred and what they bought into it. They just basically copycatted the things that we did over the years. Um, the success that they had, is always going to be based off of Twin. I did exactly what y'all did, and hopefully they're gonna keep that going, and then they making it their own. But the key to it all is for you guys now, you got to find that thing that works. I mean, I'm not a fan of going all over the place. We was not them kind of just bred and just anything to have just anything. I mean, we had a yard full of dogs. Remember, we took, like I said, I always say we went from 80 to 40 in a weekend. But the breedings that we had, we weren't selling dogs. We gave puppies and we gave dogs a chance to actually grow into their own. Got a chance to nurture them and spend the time with them, and at that 18, 19 months of everything getting there, you got older dogs, now seasons dog, that now the ones that come up, you got a chance to put that stuff and actually look at what it took to be able to stay on that yard. Especially when you got good dogs that they have to go up against, have to be willing to stand there and have that learning process with that kind of heat on that ass. That's our time. That's what made the kennel. But once you lock in on that, like I see a lot of dogs with that Frisco stuff. We got Frisco in our shit too now. But look how many years that has been. To be able to, we got Bolio, Stompanato. We got all kinds of extra things to make what we had just to make it better. Because it's not always have to be about matching. Remember, we're not breeders. We're not out here trying to sell dogs. We're trying to preserve a bloodline. And it's just a going hard bloodline. Is it going to stay the same? Yeah, well, pretty much, because we're not going to get away from our standards. If I had a chance, I wanted to show you the damn dogs are still going to look alike. They're all going to look the same way. You're going to see black faces, and then you're going to see a whole bunch of red nose. You're going to see the same old airplane ears, and you're going to see the same old floppy buck looking ears. Mayday been dead and gone. Buck's been dead and gone. But if you are concentrating on what you're trying to maintain, what is it about why we're trying to maintain this part, and very particular about what we're fixing to add to what we already have. See, the reason I got into this because I'm like, okay, we always knocking about the quality of the bulldogs, and it's almost kind of like we encouraging people to go out and fight their dogs, and that is not what we're trying to do here. What we're doing here, we're only talking about our time. You can't get those two things confused because we're not a part of your time. We're not trying to sell puppies. So when you're not a part of that time, some people be taking that as if we're knocking the now. But it don't take boxing a dog to try to move forward when you're trying to test your standards. A working dog is a working dog. I'm not a fan of turning bulldogs into protection human biting dogs. That's never been our goal. Again, I will always say, that's what we got Malinois for. They're bred for that kind of shit. So why do we still be breeding our bulldogs? First of all, because it's ours. And we still have a lot of people who have them out there that where we can, hey, I got this, twin, you want to do this? And, can we do this? We just want to tighten up on this part right here, because people are always going to try to gravitate to what I consider close to home. And see, that's where it matters at. Just like my proteges, they don't really have to go out and look too hard for something that they already still have on their yard. My peeps in Ohio, they don't have to go too far to go find, some shit that they've been breeding and they still have on their yard. Our other dogs that my son have, my daughters have, Reese's daughters have. We don't have to go very far to keep this shit tight because, again, they're all going to look alike still. They're all going to have the same little crazy attitudes because I'm just being honest with you. Our dogs are very hard dogs to keep, straight up. They're going to tear shit up in your house. They're going to always be prey aggressive, so we have to control that. And they always are hyper. They need work. They need something to do. They can't be sitting around your house with nothing to do because they're going to tear up your house. You can't put them out on the chain and don't put them to work because they're going to eat the doghouse. They're going to dig holes. They're going to be trying to find something to tear up. Dig down in the ground so far that they pulling roots out the ground. How I'm running out in the backyard, they're going to do ate a hole up under the fence or dug up under the fence because they don't have nothing to do. And that's one of the reasons when we were raising our dogs, we have four-wheelers and every dog got work. Every dog got a chance to get out there on that property and be chasing that four-wheeler or putting that rope over there and putting that rope on that end and letting them get in that work that way because these dogs, when they have that part anxiety in them, in order to maintain that, you have to let them work it off. Even with the one that I have here. She has to have some type of work or she's impossible to deal with. When I say impossible to deal with, she's not on a chain. She's actually in the house, and then I have to limit her ability to where she doesn't have free reign of my house. Because growing up, she chewed off molding on doors, tore up shoes, tore up t-shirts, tore up all the dish rags, will actually go into the laundry and tear up shit, tear up towels. So I have to now, and she will be 2 years old in September, even now, I have to limit her movement in my own house. I can't lock her behind a door or a gate. Remember, she's not a little dog. That dog now weighs about 48 pounds. Y'all seen her in shape. And even then, when I had her just in that little pre-keep for the digital dog show, she was still a 44-pound dog. Now that I don't, she doesn't get that work, and now that she doesn't know what that work is, she's, she done put that weight back on her. And that now it makes her more impossible to deal with now because now she's still got that same activity that now she wants to work. See, I'm not a believer in keeping dogs down like that. I put weight right back on her. I'm trying to get her up to at least 52 pounds. So when I go to work it off of her again, that's all I'm going to do is just work it off because it's going to take her to work and she loves that type of work. Then it gives me something to work forward to make her look good. But when I'm not a believer in keeping her that built, that stocky, that low, that lean, when she's not going to maintain that if I don't, if I'm not working her like that. Because I'm too old to be trying to work a dog like that. So yeah, she picks up that weight because I cut back on her work. So now I'm dealing with a different type of monster. Jumping on my truck, tear up my shed. I might hide her toy or something in the shed. cut her out in the backyard, and I come back and my shed door's tore up because she's tearing it up trying to get in there. I put it on the back of my truck. I got scratches on my truck because I put it in my tool box on the back of the truck, and she's doing that. See, that is something that we were used to. Remember, Brad had that problem. All them dogs were just very hard to keep dogs because it's a trait. Understanding that trait. Yeah, it might be a bad trait. But again, what we dealt with in the past, just because we don't do that in the future, don't mean the genetics and the trait was supposed to change. That's when you know, to me, that's what I consider a quality bulldog. I don't have to go out and box these dogs to know that I'm dealing with a quality dog. I don't. And I think that's what we need to push more of and talk more about, because we always talk about the quality. And I was just talking about, I was looking at my dog and her two littermates, Samson and Delilah. And they all live in different places, but they all have the same problems. They are hard dogs to keep. So, understanding that, we didn't lose anything. So why couldn't you guys be able to do the same thing? That's my thing. You know, you can still get quality dogs, but the thing is, you got to know what the standard and what your qualities and your standards are set on. Because, again, I don't have to talk about my dogs. My dogs will perform and do whatever I tell them to do. And do it, to me, at the highest level with the same type of intensity that I would expect them to do. And they're not box dogs. You can't bring a dog around them. And remember, my dog lives with another dog, a little dog. And even then, I have to watch that situation because my dog will snap on that little dog. She hasn't hurt her yet. But remember, she's just coming up on 2, dude. Will my accident happen once she gets 2 years old? Or when she gets around 3 or 4 years old? Is she going to get to the point that where now when she clocks out and wants to play hard that she's going to kill my little dog? That's a worry around my house all the time. But I still keep her in a situation that I'm not trying to avoid it from happening. What I am trying to do is something that I know can happen, and I address it every time I see it. You can't do it to this dog. But when she's out and she gets that little crazy attitude and that tail go up and she does that stand there and she looks, I don't discourage her because it's what's bred in her. She can't help acting like that. Why would I break something like that when I have control over what she can put her mouth on? So I'm not going to break her spirit. I'm not going to take that away from her. I'm not going to say, no, that's a bad thing. Because if you take certain things from dogs, they will lose it over generations, fellas. I think I heard Schoolboy mention that. Big shout out to my man Samurai. Yeah, I still watch the show, fellas. It's just I got so much going on, I just don't chime in. But I look at the little things like that. I remember Triple J made a comment about how he breeds and takes certain things out, and he learned to master that. Well, fellas, that is true. We don't put enough emphasis on it, and maybe you don't hear it enough. But every guy that you hear talk like that, I believe them, because in order to understand what they're really saying, you have to really do it. And you have to do it with the knowledge and understanding of what you are actually trying to create. Those guys, Triple J, he's been doing this long enough. And when he says that, I believe him. I don't have to see what his dogs act like and what they do. When Schoolboy says that, I believe him. And he does make it clear, even though he doesn't have any dogs. But again, the man's been around dogs long enough. And when I hear these guys say these things, that brings me back to the conversations that we have, that can you still have quality dogs? How do you grade the quality of a dog nowadays? Well, nowadays I grade the quality of the dogs that we produce from all these years, and I know what to expect. I know what I'm looking for because the standard has already been set. Regardless of what I bring to it, I will understand and I will know when there is a change, whether it be color, whether it be body form, whether it be intensity, laziness, craziness, ears, teeth. Anytime we bring something in, we're always going to look for the change. The change is always going to be for the better, because if it's not, that's where it stops at. So you can't have quality dogs if you put your name on it and you create it, because then you will know everything about what you created. Everything. And that is so important when you're talking about moving forward with these dogs. Understanding what it means to move forward. Finding something else for them to do, but still be able to maintain what made the American Pit Bull Terrier the American Pit Bull Terrier. See, I don't want anybody to feel like in order to have a quality dog, they got to be box dogs. Because that's almost like we're promoting dog fighting. And that's my view on this. I'm not speaking for nobody else out there. I'm speaking from my view. Because I think I'm a hypocrite if I'm going to sit here and talk shit about the quality of dogs in today, because I don't know what that looks like in today's world, because we're so stuck in the past. When the true reality is, I live with that simply because of my children, simply because of other people that have our dogs, simply because of breedings that we have made over the years and dogs that we have kept over the years. Do I call them bullshit ass dogs? No. Me personally, if I had the dogs that I have today back in the day, I believe I would still be in the same position back then with the same dogs that I have today. I believe that cold-heartedly. And you have to understand why. Because we own the dogs. We know these dogs. That right there, just because I'm not putting in the box, I'm not doing the checking, doesn't mean that my dogs are not quality dogs. Because if that was the case, I would test my damn dogs. I would. All bullshit aside. Or I would totally get out of the dogs. But when you have them, as long as you have, I understand what the risk is, just because I still have the same type of dogs that I had back then today. Dealing with the same headaches, the same problems, the same attitudes, the same watch them around, pray, but don't never have to worry about them around people. Sometimes people look at me like I'll take my dogs down the street and I got this little bitty poodle running around, walking down the street with this big, this big ass mean as, pit bull who's playful, and they don't have no leashes. But I understand the type of dog I got. She wears a shot collar, people. I have a breaking stick in my pocket. She knows when I call her name, without having to hit that shot collar. When I call your name, that means bring your ass right back here and you sit your ass down. Now, the key is, how much time do you think I had to spend with those dogs, or even with my own kids, explaining to them, even most kids. I think he just went through a situation. Dog doing something had no business, and she popped the dog, and the dog growled at her. That makes you're scared of the dog. You got to take care of that, because I did have to go through the same shit with my dog here. Because these dogs have this intensity in it, and if they're not out here taking that aggression out on something, they're going to take it out on something. I want to control where that aggression is going to be directed. I want to control when that aggression is going to be directed. And I understand when my dog sees another dog, my first thing to do is call her back to me. Get her on her leash. Once I have her on her leash, I let her act the way she wants to act. But I don't freely just walk around and just let her off a leash and think that she gonna get in that mode and she gonna take off. And that's my irresponsibility. Shot collar is to be able to stop her before she gets started. She gets one sound, and the next one is she gets a shock. I had to teach this dog this at 6 months old. 6 months, this dog had to wear a shot collar because her aggression to other dogs was uncontrollable. She's growing up now, so she understands. When I say place, that means whatever you're doing, whatever you're sitting there looking at, get your ass back over here and sit down. Then I leash her. Then I release her to do and act the way she want to act. That's control. But I also know that the quality of this dog right here and these other dogs, I know those are going hard dogs. And I have just as much faith in my dogs as any point in time in my life, even when we were back then. So yes, I think it's possible. I know it's possible to have quality dogs today if they're done the right way. And the reason I can say that because I'm not selling puppies. My only thing, if we were ever to sell dogs, if I would ever breed this dog and actually open them up to the market, the only thing that you would get from me, only thing that you would hear from me as a sales point is this is a going hard dog. Period. And the only way anybody would get one of those dogs is they would have to be a very knowledgeable dog owner. Responsible. Convince me that you deserve to have this dog because there's a lot that comes with this dog. This dog's not meant for guard training. This dog is meant to be a house pet. A controlled house pet. If you can't control this controlled house pet, this house pet will tear up your house. This house pet will attack your neighbor's dog. This house pet will do all the wrong things because this is an American Pit Bull Terrier. A real American Pit Bull Terrier. That takes responsible people to be able to have that type of animal. So that part right there is where I still say in today's world, we have to be more responsible breeders and understand what you bred and be able to put that in the right people's hands to be able to well, I would say progress into the future with quality dogs. Because right now, for me, it's not about the money. Breeding has never been something that we looked at as trying to make some damn money. We were more stuck in breeding quality dogs. Even now today, I'm more into maintaining a good American Pit Bull Terrier off of something that we have been breeding over the last 20, 30 years. My kids are happy. Over all these years, every last one of them got a dog, a going hard dog. I have friends. That's why I wanted to show you. I have friends that still have going hard dogs and still represent and be like, hey, I still got, and they still crazy as hell. Everybody can incorporate and do all the different things in the now. Yeah, we got Stompanato, we got Frisco, we got Renegade, we got Yellow Man, we got Macho. We got all types over the last 20, 30 years of incorporating all that stuff into the Going Hard line. And it has still been successful for us simply because we understand what we're looking for. We understand the traits. We understand the responsibility. My children, most children, they understand the responsibility. They don't have to worry about 4 and 5 and 20 and 30 dogs. All you got to worry about is that one dog. And you have to take care of that dog responsibly and understand everything that you learned growing up with these dogs. Take care of that dog. When I'm ready to go breed that dog, I'll be to get that dog. And when I'm done breeding and getting the puppies off of them, I will bring you back your dog. And guess what? These dogs live for years. When that dog die off, guess what? There's something to take its place. We have a lot of friends that have these dogs. And we don't tell them how to breed their dog. We ask them not to sell them, don't become a puppy peddler. I don't know one friend of mine that peddles puppies that has these dogs. Not one. Not one. And I also know that these dogs could be bred and sold and be quality American Pit Bull Terriers. I think they can run up a wall in the right person's hands. I think they will be totally hard-working dogs when it comes to running a treadmill because they love to work. You got a dog that love to work, man, you'd be amazed at the things that they can do. These dogs have that intensity, and like I say, that's that trait that has lasted throughout years. And you know how I be checking those traits? I'm gonna tell you how I check these traits, y'all. First thing I do, I check the simple things. What's the color? When they're too young, I can't really tell about the ears, but I just watch the color. The next thing is I watch the litters. Bulldog litters, you can, out of any kind of dog, I'm not going to say that because we got 2 Malinois litters, and there's always going to be certain dogs in those litters that we're going to always take what we call our picks. So when I'm looking into a litter, I know what I'm looking for. They all might look alike, but where is my pick going? Who is the one that I'm going to keep for myself? Mo, same way. He wants to know who's the one that he's going to have that he can put over here and it's going to be taken care of where it can grow up. So as we take in these litters, we can have good dogs to inbreed or, outcross and still be able to maintain a good dog. we're looking for those dogs in them litters. And how we pick them out is the same way we picked them out 20, 30 years ago, is the same we still pick them out today. And we had confidence in our picks 20, 30 years ago, we still have confidence in them picks today. The thing is, back then, they had a different purpose. Now, the purpose is different. What's the purpose? To still maintain good quality, going hard dogs. That's it. Keep it at our standards. Keep it the kind of quality that we looking for. Just because it's our shit. Some people make money off of that shit. We just, I don't know, never got into selling puppies. I mean, I see so much of it going on today, you know, and I kind of knock, you know, because it's almost done with no purpose. It's probably why I look so, I mean, I kind of like be down on it because I'm a true believer, fellas. If you take a dog and you do your breeding program and you make it your own, make it your own. Don't make it somebody else's. Make it your own. When you make it your own, your name gonna be on it. And you don't have to talk about that dog. That dog is gonna represent you without you not having to say one word. That dog's performance, that dog's ability to work will be covered without you having to say one word. And I believe that. Anybody ever question any one of these dogs, I always open that door. What you want to do? Because I believe in the dog. You want to see him run the treadmill? You want to get on the other end of that rope? You want to see how much weight this dog will pull? Because even then, when I be acting like that, because see, my job for me, I'm trying to get the best out of my dogs. I'll put my dog on some weights and get his favorite toy, take him up to the park, and guess what? How bad you want this toy? How bad? To come get it. Let's go. I'm encouraging. I'm making them work. And it's all for what? Nothing. Not the for sale. Nothing but for me. Helping take care of my dog because I don't want it losing what has already been put into it. So I help enhance it. I make them work. I make them put in that work. I gotta have something to bring them back down to earth. They can't stay geeked up like that all the time. Where are they going to release it? If you ain't using it, they're going to lose it. I'm a true believer in that. If you ain't using it, they're going to lose it. There's so many other things that you can do to keep that intention and that fire and that attitude. I'm a believer in if it's not being used, it's going to lose. I used to tell my kids, and I got this from Mo because he used to have to go through that with his own children. And that's getting that one thing that just indestructible. When you think it's indestructible, you get that same piece and you buy a couple of them because what you think is indestructible, it's not going to be indestructible. And that's for real. It's not going to be indestructible. I buy toys for my dog. I mean, I'm talking about I buy stuff that I want them to be biting. I want her to bite. When you're biting, I want to see what you're biting. I want to see that mouth. My dog can bite so hard. I haven't seen her take a car tire, attack a car tire on a car, and bite so hard and bust it. So I know she can bite. So I have to get her toys. I get a toy that's so hard of plastic, but it's not going to mess up her teeth. I don't want her just chewing. If I leave it with her, she's going to chew it to where it's I don't want none of that in her body because she's going to chew it up. She's done it enough times where I know I don't leave toys with her to play with. But I want something strong enough that when I get her and I want her to bite, I want her to bite. Why? Because it's in her. This is where she gets her enjoyment. This is where she gets to release all that energy and break her off of it and just stand there with it and just watch how she just acts just total crazy. Why do I do that? Because I know what's in her. I don't need another dog over there to get that attitude out of her. But what I need to do is keep that in her and keep that part of her by letting her do what she was meant to do, and that's work. That's a quality bulldog for me. I see a lot of people doing the flirt poling and the tug of warring and all that's good, but how much do you do it? To the point to where it's almost like anxiety. See, I don't do that with my dog every day. She doesn't get that kind of treatment. I don't, because at some point, if I'm doing it every day, she's going to lose it. This dog is not meant to be in keep. I'm not doing a keep. No, I let her anxiety build up. I like to see her run outside and look around and go trying to find where is the toy. Where is the toy at, Dad? If we're going outside to play with the toy, no, you're going to go outside. I need you to shit and piss and get your ass back in the house. But guess what? Every day for her, she never knows when that day is coming. To where she's going to walk out that door that day, and guess what? Daddy's got your toy. Ears going to go up, and she's going to go, damn it, nuts. And when she finally gets her mouth on it, it's all hell going to break loose. You're going to see. I love that. I love it, man. Because that's a going hard dog. I know how to work her up to bring out what I'm looking for. Are the traits still there for me? Do I need to really put her on the dog to see what she need to do? No. Because we don't do that in these days and times. I wouldn't promote, I'm not here to promote that. I'm actually here to show it, to tell you, you can have quality dogs, but gentlemen, let me explain something to you. That is not something that just happened by chance. This is something where I can speak so confidently about it that we have been doing for years. I mean, years on top of years. So I speak confidently, and I'm not trying to sell nobody out here anything. I'm just telling you, if you do what I'm saying, you can confidently actually maintain and have quality American Pit Bull Terriers to move into the future. You can. But what's the best way to perform? Find a new way. Remember, I have ways of getting what I want out my dogs. I got ways. And I feel very confident in them ways. I'm too old to want to go and start traveling around and get up and trying to teach her to run up a wall or get on the treadmill and run as fast as you can or get on this weight thing, because now I start doing that kind of shit. That's almost like putting a dog in keep. Got to keep them ready. Got to keep that energy up. Got to keep that mentality on point. That's work. Remember, I always say, if you're going to be dealing with a pit bull, you got to have a purpose. What in the hell is you breeding them for? Are you either breeding them because you're trying to make your own with a purpose and have it the best with your name on it? Or are you just trying to throw a bunch of dogs together and sell them? I'm the one just sitting over here with the quality bulldogs that we've been breeding over the years. to have them in other places, in other people's hands, and can reassure you the same thing that I'm telling you guys tonight. I'm trying to reassure you that there's not a going hard dog that I can go get and I can't bring in my house, and I expect that same type of attitude. That's why I stress the care, the maintaining, the ability to know what you have and be responsible for it. When I say responsible for it, I mean all the way responsible. Don't let the dog just sit around and do nothing. Don't let the dog just don't have something to get that anxiety off. You're going to do the exact same thing I'm doing. You're going to put in that work. How do I know that? Because you grew up in a house with us. You know what we say. Dad, she's always doing this. Or Dad, they chewing up everything. You ain't doing what I told you to do. You're not giving them enough work. You need to spend more time. Go out there and put in some work. Get one of the boys to go out there with them and put in some work. Get your boyfriend to get out there and put in for some work. If you ain't a dog man, then why is you messing with him? Because you're a dog girl. Why you got dealing with somebody who don't want to be around dogs? If they can't do it, then why is you with them? I'm that kind of dad. You can't handle the dog, bring the dog back. I'll find it a new home. I and my brother are very serious about these dogs, especially when they come to our kids and the people's hands we put them in. So I felt like I needed to say, man, I see a lot of conversation, and you're right. You know, we always can talk about the problem and not the problem, but nobody's never coming back with a solution. I'm not going to be one of them people. I think I've been doing this long enough that I know, and I've been around them, and I still have them around me, that I understand that we in a total different day and time. That's why I said I would never kind of really fit in, because for me to really talk shit and brag about my dog, I would say, go get your shit, and I'll show you what this motherfucker can do. You know, I'm from that era. You don't talk no shit now. Not when I know I got a bulldog. I'm not promoting that. That was the way we used to do it. We didn't have to go through the things and all the mouth talking back then. I'm not from this era where you can think you're gonna talk your game for your bulldog. I'm not from that era. I'm from that other era. Mm-mm. I ain't gotta say nothing but lock it up. Bring that shit on. We'll see. Call the wait. Totally two different eras. So there's no reason for me to feel like I have to promote that kind of attitude to find a quality bulldog when I know better than that. But I'm telling you, these quality bulldogs have been bred like this for years. They're going to look the same. They're going to act the same. The traits are going to be the same way, simply because we were very, very careful and really understood why we were doing the things we've been doing over the years. We're not flooding the market with them. And yes, I can truly say we have quality bulldogs. You never ever heard we got anything up for stud. I never ever heard us advertise a thing. We all, Mo every once in a while tell you this is how he's breeding, just to let you know, hey, that part of the game ain't changed for us. We're still, breeding quality bulldogs. But it's because our standards have already been set in stone. And if we can set those standards, I have the faith that there's other people, once you establish what you're trying to do, what you want to do, what it takes to do what you're trying to do, once you put together what you're doing, you're going to be able to stick to what you have and put your name on it. And when you got your name on it, you don't have to talk. Your dog will do all the talking for you. And I'm a true believer in that. So quality is always going to lie in the hands of the beholder. It's whatever, what your preference is. See, I'm not in one of them guys that sit back and knock what another man does. Never been that guy. I'm a businessman also. I mean, you can talk all that shit, but what's going to happen when I get your ass on the job site? You're supposed to know everything. I don't question you, but I give you a chance. Because when the work start, I don't need to hear shit. I can been doing this long enough. I know what you're supposed to be doing. I know what it looks like when I know what you're doing. And I always give people a chance. And trust me, fellas, talk don't get you in the door. I think my biggest and best accomplishment in my life is training people, and that's for real. You know, and I say that because I have trained a lot of people, and I'm a hard ass with it. The one that talks the most is the one that I know I'm going to give you a chance and you're going to blow it. But because you came and you put yourself in that situation, I'm going to tell you how to fix it. Because then I got somebody to understand you don't know what you're really doing, but you talk a good game. It's not your talk that got you in the door. It's the fact that you came here talking is what got you in the door. I'm just giving you a chance to prove what you're saying. If you can't prove what you're saying, that's okay too. Because by the time I get with you, the next person in the door that you're gonna knock on, you're not gonna have too much to say. You can say, I'm gonna kind of show and tell you. I can show you better than I can tell you. Because you're gonna have enough knowledge and enough confidence to really believe that I don't have to say shit. I can show you and mean it. That's how I be rolling. That's where I think success comes from. I don't have to have a sales pitch. Even on these shows, we're not trying to sell y'all how good we are. We don't care about all that. Back then, it didn't matter. If you got a bulldog, come see. Come check it out. You think you got some shit, bring it on. I had enough people around us, and if I don't have it, I can go get it. But this is a new day and time. We're talking about the quality of the dog, the future. How do we handle the future? Confirmation shows, okay, you don't have to do much. But when is it really going to get serious? Because right now, what I fear, fellas, with the way the law is acting, they're going to basically try to profile the American Pit Bull Terrier to where they're trying to gather up enough to just totally ban them. Because not enough people doing the right thing. I had I can't remember who it was, and please forgive me, but I think it might have been my man Courtney Edwards came up with a great idea, and I kind of want to share it with you, but I don't want nobody stealing his idea. But I'm going to share it with you. Courtney was saying, with all the things that's going on, what if we had got together and we put together an organization that just collected a whole lot of dog food and we start, you know, helping out some of these shelters and some of these people that's getting these dogs and help them out. Donate. But donate from the community. This is our donation to help in the situation. Because one thing I've started noticing is these dog shelters are lying to you. They're lying. They're killing more American Pit Bull Terriers than what they're actually putting in new homes. Giving them, they're killing at such a high rate because most people, first of all, don't want them. And some of them that do get them, they end up bringing them back. They don't tell you them stories. They don't tell you those stories. And to me, that's sad because there's a bunch of dogs out there that's being destroyed and nobody really cares. Now, as a dog man myself, it's hard for me to I put it like this. We know how it felt to have dogs killed. It's a hurting feeling. It's really like losing your children. So I gotta that pain for me is just a little bit different than anybody who has never had that happen. When somebody just come in and just take everything off your yard and be wrong as hell and kill it and then think you're supposed to be okay with it. Because a dog is just like property. They don't care. But what are we doing to try to help the situation and change the whole outlook? We got to do a lot more positive because the negative is taking over and they're slowly but surely using that as an excuse to get ready to ban these dogs. And that is something that, first of all, I couldn't imagine what it would look like to try to get people to ban the American Pit Bull Terrier when I see them all the time everywhere. I see the bums walking down the street with one. A lot of them around here in Tampa. They don't have the Rottweiler. They don't have the Doberman Pinscher. They don't have, the Malinois. They got a pit bull with a little scarf tied around his neck, pushing a little buggy, because it's still the most lovable, loyalist friend that you can have in the right hands. That's why you see them so much. But they get all the bad publicity and none of the good. But come on, y'all. Y'all in all these different cities. We all over the country. But I guarantee you, all y'all have someone somewhere in your neighborhood, in your city that you've seen walking around pushing a basket with their clothes or, something. But they got that pit bull right there beside them. And that is their companion. Y'all have seen it. I've seen it not just here. I've been many places and seen it. Because it is still the most loyalist companion that you can have as far as a dog. And you can find faults in many dogs. Many. All dogs have their faults. But like I said, when it comes to them people that don't have them homes and it's out there on them streets, you're going to see that pit bull a whole lot more than you're going to see a Malinois, a German Shepherd, or a Doberman Pinscher. Or a little poodle. Or a little Patterdale. Or a little Cocker Spaniel. You're not going to see them like you're going to see that pit bull. And there's a reason for that. There's a reason for that. Because the American Pit Bull Terrier was not made to fight people. They weren't. They were fighting dogs. I'm a bum on the street. I know most bums and people out there that's transient out there and they doing that pit bull gonna protect them. from any wild animal, from any stray dog. And if they love their master enough, they're going to protect them from anybody else that's trying to mess with them because they're loyal like that. It's a beautiful dog to have. Trust me. I am American Pit Bull Terrier fancier for life. So, regardless of what I did in the past, my love and compassion is no different now than it was back then. That love and compassion is true to the heart. And only a real dog man, a real American Pit Bull Terrier dog man understands what I'm saying. It's a love unlike any other when it comes to a compassion about an animal. Because that animal will do things that the average animal wouldn't do for you. But it was bred for a purpose. My thing is, where do we move this beautiful animal into the future? I don't get a chance to read the chats, and I always read them after the fact, fellas. So it's so much going on over there. I can't wait to see what you guys had to say. But, one thing I'm noticing is I'm starting to see a lot of bloodlines and a lot of gentlemen, a lot of my dog men out there who are experiencing these different bloodlines and how it's working for you. See, if you're new to this game, shows like this kind of matters because in order to really understand quality, we always going to go back to the things of the past. Most of all dogs that you look at and we talk about when it comes down to these American Pit Bull Terriers are actually bred from fighting dogs. We have to accept that, regardless of what people think and say. We have to own that. I've even seen them run into court and take a paper, say this is off of Grand Champion so and try to use that against it. Well, hell, if that was the case, we could say that about Petey from the Little Rascals. We can say that about the Marine Pit Bull. I mean, he's bred down off of some damn fighting dogs. I mean, every pit bull that you bring up that you want to actually talk about, well, this is this, you have a defense to it because they were bred for the purpose of dog fighting. Period. You had nothing to do with that. That, for anyone to use that against you, you will always have a defense. Because I can say the same thing about that Malamar. I can say the same thing about that Doberman Pinscher. I can say the same thing about that German Shepherd. They all was bred for a goddamn purpose. Don't bring that shit in here and throw it around like, oh. But see, they get away with that because you don't have lawyers who are well understood and qualified to put up a defense to protect you from that kind of stupid shit to even be used against you. So you generally be just sitting up in the chair and you looking at your lawyer and he don't know what to say. Oh, he'll let that kind of shit get in, and then when it don't have no business being there. Just because it's on the papers, you give me a damn pit bull dog that's got papers, you ain't got a fighting dog in it. Why don't you bring me one of them in here? Because that's not out of the norm. Mine, it is what it is. Does not make me a dog fighter. Does not mean I got this dog for the purpose of dog fighting. See, these are the things that we have to get. This is the profile I'm talking about. I'm trying to stick to what the damn dog was bred for, and let's take advantage of the quality of the dog by making it your own, because you're going to school yourself. You're going to gather the knowledge, and you're going to understand what it means to actually have an American Pit Bull Terrier and make it your own. Not something that somebody sold you, that's somebody else's shit. You don't know what created that shit. You don't know what comes with that shit because you didn't create that shit. To be successful at this and be able to stand on this, you got to make it yours. I did this. I know the traits. I know what I did to get it to where it is. I took all the bad out and I put a whole bunch of the good in it. I have the temperament to where I want it. I have the workability where I want it. I have the body to where I want it. I have the look and the teeth and all the genetic and the traits that I want to make the perfect American Pit Bull Terrier for me and anybody else who wants a American Pit Bull Terrier, and stand on it. I don't go as far as running around talking about like Chico Lopez, even though I don't like, I have my reasons why I don't like Chico, but I do not like, I do not dislike what he has done. You can't hate, I don't hate on that. I hate on the person, period. Not because what he's doing what he's done with the dogs, but the kind of person he really is. I said that the same thing about Fat Bill. I don't bite my tongue. I love and respect Fat Bill as a dog, man. I just don't like him as a person because he's full of shit. And anybody that's full of shit, you talk that shit, but you really ain't about that shit type of person. Like I know Chico is. He ain't really about that shit. Not with the shit I done seen you do. You talk that shit, but that shit only gonna get you but so far. You fool other people with that bullshit, but I ain't the one. You sure you wanna have that conversation with me? You sure you wanna stand up here and have that talk with me? Knowing I know you. Knowing I know you. No, you don't want to do that. That's why we don't get attacked. We don't have to worry about hearing that. Because you can go over there and keep doing what you're doing. Cause I don't interfere with that. Actually, I give you praise for doing what you're doing. So I can truly speak on what I have against you. I'm not hating on him. I'm not hating on him. I'm not hating on neither one of those guys. I will promote them because as dog men, I respect what they do and how they do it. But that don't mean I have to like you as a person. And anybody else in that game that I feel like that about. I don't bite my tongue and I say it freely. And if you feel like that about me, go ahead. But have something to stand on. You don't have to like this show because you don't like what I say. That's a whole new different story compared to if I done something wrong to you that makes you not like me. Don't like me because I'm sitting here and what I'm saying. You ain't never beat me in the box. I ain't never cheated you out no money. I ain't never sold you no bullshit. I ain't never took shit from you. So there's not too much you can say about me to make you not like me anyway. Now, I can deal with haters all day because they come a dime a dozen. You so easy to get away with because you're a person that's running your mouth because I will pull your whole card in a minute. Because being around here and living life as long as I've lived it and the way I've lived my life, trust me, I have gotten real good about how I deal with bullshit. I deal with bullshit in business and I deal with bullshit in the streets and I've always dealt with bullshit in dogs. So I am very well schooled on how to deal with bullshit. And in these dogs, there's so much bullshit going on and so much bullshit happening that innocent people are getting hurt. Innocent dogs are being destroyed. So guess what? I just talked about all that. Now I'm talking about, guess what? I'm not going to be a hypocrite. I'm not going to sit here and tell you all about the goddamn problem and then trying to give you a solution. I got a solution. I'm trying to give you all the energy in the world to tell you, hey, you can still do quality bulldogs. We know why? Because we have bred quality bulldogs over 30 years. We don't sell them to the public. We don't offer them to the public. But guess what? The reality is I still believe we have quality bulldogs. So yes, it can be done. But you have to start somewhere. I even told you how. You got to start with a foundation. Care who you got it from, but make sure the foundation got to be able to withstand everything that you're going to be doing in the future. Where did it come from? Well, we was able to fight our dogs and know what the hell we were doing. You can't do that. So what do you got to go on? You got to create it. I wouldn't give a damn if it was nothing but weight pulling, running the damn treadmill, or climbing up a damn wall, or standing up there having the best body in the nation. Because in order to make quality to me, it's got to be competitive. And I don't care how. That means you're willing to put it up against anything in any kind of working environment and show it can stand amongst the best, if not be the best, whatever it is. And as a dog owner, a dog trainer, that's how we think, that's what we believe, and we stand on that. Ain't no half-ass, I gotta talk shit for my dog. My dog gonna do the talking. I'm a believer in that. Why? Because we made that. We did that. That's an attitude. That's not bragging. I don't have to brag. I just tell you, go get your dog. Go get the dog. What can he do? That biting on the rope and all that don't mean shit. I say that with my own shit, but you ain't doing what I'm doing. You ain't seeing what I'm seeing, cause I don't know. I mean, if you are, I tell you what. Let's find out. Let's go see. Let's put them weights on them. Let's throw them on that meal. Something I know that they can do, because they get that workout. It's part of their life. They built on that type of shit. They got that energy. They got that mindset. They got that, They used to it. To be competitive, go get your shit. Ain't nothing changed. Go get your shit. The problem is we don't have enough to bring that kind of positivity or give you the reason to have to want to work your dog to be able to have that kind of energy to even put into the dog to be able to have that type of competition. And I've said this ever since I've heard people talk about we're going to change the world, we're going to change this. Us old guys don't know what the hell we talk about, dog fighting out the door, all that. I hear all that bullshit. But I don't see nobody doing nothing. Nothing. Really. Just a few. I think that's down south Kennels. I mean, I like them because they show up at the shows. They participate in the shows. Heart and Finish Kennels, Samurai. These guys, they don't get enough. They don't get enough accolades. Y'all ain't giving them enough competition, and they begging for it. They begging for it because you got that small bunch just really trying to get people to get involved, to help them. I see them. I have faith in what they trying to bring to the table. I actually, when it come down to them the ones that I know if I ever bring one out there, I'm gonna put your shit to the test. And just because it's going hard, Kennels, damn well 20 of them finna bring some shit up in here. Because if you don't know, you will know by the time we're done. Regardless of what it is, whether it's wall climbing. I don't know how to get a dog to run up a wall, but I know I could if I wanted to. Because they're going to love that toy that bad that they're going to go anywhere I put it and they're going to go get it. That much about this game I do believe. And it's not too much I can't train a dog to do if I already put my mind to it. But then that's what has to go into what we're talking about. I'm too old to be trying to take on something new. But don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that it can't be done. And you can measure the dog's ability based off the quality of the work the dog puts in by competition. Create the competition. Show your animals in the most positive ways you possibly can. I don't have no problem with that. None. All the bullshit that's going on, all the back and forth, and who's breeding this and who's breeding that, and who's selling this and who's selling that. All that to me is a bunch of bullshit because anybody can go out and breed dogs and sell dogs. Anybody, that is the easiest thing that you can possibly do. What makes a quality bulldog is the same thing that makes a quality thoroughbred horse. Same thing that makes a quality Malinois. That dog got accolades. Something's gonna be behind that dog that you gonna know. That dog's offspring, that horse's offspring, that person's offspring got that shit in them, and it's in them. And if they anything like they mama or they anything like they daddy, they gonna be about that life. How do you know they gonna be about? I seen the mama. Son, I seen the daddy. Act just like his mama. Act just like his daddy. That's traits. That's genetic traits. And it will and can and will be passed on. Has always been like that. Has always been a part of the American Pit Bull Terrier history. And it will continuously moving into the future to do the same damn thing because, again, quality is always going to be based off the person who's making the choice of what quality looks like. My quality might be a whole lot different than yours, but if we happen to come to a situation that you really want to find out how good your shit is, you know what you can do. You know what you can do. And that's what I've been on. I live in a different era than you do. Over here, we did this. Over here, we can't do this no more. But does that mean we can't have quality bulldogs? Me personally, and I'm only speaking for myself because, I don't heard how Mo felt about it. I heard some of how my other OGs feel about it. But taking it from a person who has still been breeding bulldogs for the last 30 plus years, to still have them around. And if I kind of got my computer, I will show you dogs from 2020, 21, 22 that are still around here that still look just like going hard dogs and still have that same mentality in good people's hands and still not being sold, just being maintained. So it can happen. And I can still feel comfortable enough to take one of those dogs, do the same thing I'm doing with my dogs, go get one of my kids and do the same thing with one of their dogs. If I was just 15 years younger, I would stay out here in conformation shows. I would always have 2 or 3 dogs being worked for a conformation show, for a treadmill race, for a wall climbing. I would have a wall in the backyard trying to get a dog to run off because my competitive nature won't allow me to do nothing else but stay competitive. Because I want to have the best. I want to be the best. There's nothing wrong with feeling like that, fellas, especially if I'm creating the best. If you doubt I have the best, then bring your shit and let's see. So yeah, I'm one of those who believe that, yeah, they can pull it off. Yeah, we can change the profile. Yeah, we just don't have enough people doing it. And because of that, we're going to find ourselves being banned because it's too much negativity surrounding these dogs to the point to where what's the best way to stop the negativity? Ban them. And they've tried that in some cities. Hell, they tried it in some places now, the insurance company. If you got a bulldog, you're going to pay more for insurance. I mean, I'm in this world on all angles, and I've seen and I've heard and all the things that you could possibly say when it comes down to these American Pit Bull Terriers. Some places, if you got an American Pit Bull Terrier, they won't even let you in. If you're dealing with a HOA, if you got an American Pit Bull Terrier, they have the right to deny you. Not because of your color, not because you got a big family, just because we don't allow pit bulls in our living area. That's supposed to be what? But legally, because of HOA, they have that right. Just because you want to rent, but you got a pit bull, and everybody else got something running around, but no, your pit bull can't come up in here. That's not being prejudiced against the pit bull. They call it not being prejudiced. I say it's a Staffordshire, Staffordshire, English bulldog, or it's a Staffordshire Terrier. You know what I mean? Don't go in and talk about it's an XL bully and all that shit, because again, that don't work no more. Because as soon as they look at it, the first thing they're gonna say, that's a pit bull. They done fucked it up that bad. Because there's so much them dogs done bad that they calling them pit bulls instead of calling them what they is, bullies. And then you hear about these band dogs. Oh my gosh. Now you're taking shit and you're crossing it up. You don't know what to call it because you can't say it's nothing but a band dog. That's what they're calling them because it's this mixed with that. See, these are all the things that's hurting the American Pit Bull Terrier and the community on top of the stupid shit that you see people out here doing. Me, I'm working toward the positive side based on, and when I say the positive side, I'm more into getting people to understand don't let the time change the quality. We can't change why and how these dogs were bred. It is what it is. That's not meant to change. But we can base the quality off other things other than what we used to do. To shine a new light on what we can do. That's where I'm at with that. And again, I still believe in quality. I still believe I got quality bulldogs. And anybody want to put that to the test, call me. And I speak on that on a legitimate side because I think I got one that will pull your house down. I think I got one that will outrun anything on the damn treadmill if I train her to do it because I love to see her work. I love to see them work. I love to put them in that competitive nature that I want to put them to work because competitive nature in a person and you're responsible for your athlete, that's a drive. That's not something I want to get into nowadays. Because I'm at that age. If I had a yard full of dogs, they would be out here running treadmills and running up walls and pulling weights and everything else, and I would try to be hitting every show out here. Not just hitting shows, trying to create shows, getting boys on the fly. Let's try to make something happen, Captain. Those are the things that I'm trying to bring to the light, being that we always talk about the past because that's who we are. I've been giving Mo a break because he's been here sick lately, and I don't know which way this thing is going to go. But I'm just trying to keep it moving. But in the same token, you're not going to hear me. My conversation ain't going to be like Mo. Once I get this computer situation right, I'm going to show you everything that I'm talking about. Because again, I can show you dogs that are now, and you will understand our dogs still look the same. Our dogs are still appreciated in the same light that they were back 30 years ago. And we're in 2024. And that's not me just talking. I can show better than I can tell. We don't really be talking. We ain't ones to be talking shit. Not have receipts. I will produce some damn receipts, and I ain't even Mo. Mo is behind and is responsible for every dog that we've had on the yard. I'm just a good, I'm just blessed to be a recipient of it. But my confidence, my ability to maintain and own and have these dogs is no different than Mo. How can I be around this game that long and act like I don't know shit? I just know my role. My role is to doing what I'm doing today. Not just telling you everything that's wrong, but actually giving you a solution to how to make this better. Now, I'm not preaching to the choir. I'm actually putting everybody to the test. That's all. Because I'm still competitive as hell. That's what I mean. I will still put my shit against anybody's shit out here when it comes down to that body, any type of competition. And I know my boys is out there. They eager. There's young guys out here. There's guys out here that's eager to do this new thing and have all the confidence in the world. And the only way that you know that you're going, the only way they can do they come up is they got to have people like them and get them on that levels, because now we're going to be creating a new level. If they want to be top dog, then I'm coming to get that top dog spot. To give you something to have to work up to if that's what you want to see. Because I'm not new to this at all. I know anytime we go to bring anything in, it's going to be right. I just think you grading your shit on the level of competition. I don't have no problem in stepping up that game. And that's the thing, something else I'm going to be doing here in the near future as we back our way out. I'm going to be doing more videos. I'm just looking for more reasons to have to break out a camera and show you this is how I do some shit. Let me get this on camera in case something happened to me or happened to Mo. This is what the last things that they did. These are the last dogs that they worked. These are the last dogs they put into a legal competition. This is how well they did. This is what their dogs look like. Because when it's all said and done, our dogs are going to represent us now the same way they did back then. Why? Because they're our dogs. They're going hard dogs. And we stand on that. Y'all know where I'm coming from. Don't mean to hold you out here all night. Really, actually appreciate everybody for showing up and showing out. Again, I told y'all, without having to just break the bubble and everything, when you don't see Mo around, there's a reason. And we're dealing with all that. So he okay, but then he not really okay. I don't want nobody to go worrying and falling off the bandwagon and everything, because Mo he'll show up, but it's just not like that right now. So I'm gonna take up the slack, and hopefully my conversation and what I bring to the table, because again, I'm finna come out my bag, because I don't want y'all to think this is what this is gonna be about. I'm gonna break out and I'm gonna have a whole new outlook on how we're gonna do things, as I'm trying to wind this thing down, but I want to do it the right way. And it's not like I'm going to be running a preaching class. Well, the information I gave today is a bit of an information to drive you into encouragement. We always seem like we're always putting people down, but no, we're not putting people down now, because I'm saying I can tell you everything I see wrong. But I can also sit here and tell you my opinion based on what I think we could do to make it right. Because I'm going to bring a solution. I'm willing to get out there and say, I'll stand on every damn thing I'm saying. And if you doubt me in any type of way, I can show you. I'm not just talking, because I think we have the ability and the knowledge and the experience to stand on anything that we say and be able to back it and prove it with no hesitation. And that's me talking about the now. So hopefully y'all understand where I'm coming from. Help me out here, because we have a whole lot of problems when it comes down to dog people looking out for each other. And I can understand, with everything that's going on, everybody looking at everybody's side eye. But how about this? You can't let that be an excuse why we don't have success moving in the future. If I was a drug dealer, or if I even was a dog fighter in the now, I wouldn't trust anybody either. If I was selling drugs right now, I wouldn't trust nobody either. If I'm selling drugs and dog fighting right now, I wouldn't trust nobody. Nobody. I mean, when I say nobody, I mean nobody. I would trust my brother because, again, he probably feel like I is, but my circle would be just that big right there. It would be that big, me and him. I know we're going to protect each other. So I feel y'all. But Ben, we ain't doing none of that. I don't have nothing to worry about. I don't have no reason to be scared. I don't have no reason not to trust anybody. I don't get into that. I think every man has his own way of how you handle people. Because I don't have nothing to gain. I'm not selling you shit, and I'm not buying shit. What I'm giving to you guys, we give for free. We ask you to donate, but it's not like our lives depend on what y'all donate. We can barely get you to hit the like button. So as far as the donations, I'll always say, whatever you do, I'm always going to appreciate it simply because, when you donating or you're people doing them super chats and giving to these channels, that means people are involved. People, I just go to I see a lot of YouTube channels out here that I see people talking and people donating to. We don't have that type of following in this kind of community. We got certain people like, big shout out to my man Dickie Foster, my man Melee, my man Mr. David Morris. Mo has most of the people there's other people but Mo handles the cash out part. I generally see what comes in through the chat, but he sees everything that comes down to that cash out because that's the part that he handles. But that's few out of the many that's out here we're almost on 600,000 600,000 views. So I know we got a lot of people out here who have seen these videos. My thing is, if something was to happen to my brother, and I'm stuck to actually memorialize my brother, my way, you know what I would be looking for? I would be looking for the whole entire Pitbull community to represent. Because outside this community, my brother still has a life. He still has a big family. And he still has a whole lot of friends. But for this part right here, with all the information that he done said in here and gave, and all the time that he done walked in here and left hospitals just to come, because and I know it sounds crazy, but he do what he do because he love what he do. And I'm not going to let him be gone before we give him his roses. I don't play that because anything that we start, we're all in, and we all in to the end. That's just who we are. Always have been, always will be, all the way to the end. We S2W, scratch to win always. We're not looking to come here to take a loss. We're coming in here to take care of business, and hopefully, we help somebody. And when he can't do that anymore, when I can't pull him back to get there, I'm going to take it and do the scratching for him. And that's what I've been doing. That's why I appreciate everybody who show up to show out, because even based on what I'm saying, I don't talk much, but I'm talking a lot more now because I don't know what this is going to turn into. And pretty soon, here, I'm going to have to do a whole lot of work, you know, to where I don't have to talk. I'm going to take all the information that we got, all our funniest moments, everything. I'm going to put it all together because I don't want my brother to die before I give him the right way out of this. Based on the only reason I'm doing this was for him anyway. I want him to be able to enjoy that in life instead of miss it in death. Understand where I'm coming from, because now we're actually doing this for a purpose. So I appreciate everybody for coming out. I appreciate everybody out there in that Shark Tank. Y'all know that love is like this. Y'all know what's out there. Appreciate all my boys out there. And even though y'all on the back street, even my people out there who got their podcast, I know y'all be sitting up there watching because I know y'all be hearing some of the things I say and you bring it up. Just the same way I be on the back street watching you. So that's what I be talking about. Hey, don't always have to show up in there, but then it's always good to know that you're out there. And if you don't see me out there, you can just almost best believe, know I'm out there, just like I know y'all out there watching me. So as we move on and get down through this thing, please understand, keep hitting them like buttons, keep showing that love for this channel. That's where I'm at. Because it's not going to get worse. Actually, things are fixing to get better because now I'm working for a new purpose. I am definitely working for a new purpose, and I might be on borrowed time. But again, like I said, we're not going to moralize him in death when we can do it in life. Because the conversation I'm having today is to help y'all to understand, like I said, we might not be a part of it now, but that still don't eliminate us in trying to help for the change. So as I close this thing out tonight, I need y'all to help me out here. Show me some love. Show your damn self some love, because you didn't have to do so many other things you could have been doing. But we're going to do this like we always do. Give me them thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. Muscles, muscles, muscles. Now, for me, y'all know what I'm saying, baby. Give me some damn roses, roses. Mike need damn roses. Now show me, look, like Mo said, put your hand on the button and just hold that motherfucker. Just hold it. That's right. Let me see the holding. There we go. There we go, baby. That's what I'm talking about. Hey, man, look. Again, represent, understand where we're coming from. And I'm going to speak for my brother. You know, he know y'all love him, you know, just like he love y'all. And if Mo could, if he could be here, would he be here? Y'all understand? I just don't want to get into the situation. But he's still living. He's still here. He's struggling a little bit. But, again, his heart is still here. I just want y'all to understand that, all right? So, from me to him, so if you're watching the show, Mo, I'm letting him know, baby, that he always, he always, as long as he got me, we always, damn it, gonna scratch the wind. Y'all know what I'm saying? Until Tuesday, y'all stay safe, stay out of trouble. Don't forget to check them cameras, do the right thing. Don't forget to hit that damn like button. To all my people on the back street, to all my people to see this video after the fact. Come on now. I got 700 damn people watching the video and 80-something damn likes. Man, y'all better hit them damn like buttons. It don't cost you nothing. It's for free. It helps the channel. Look, we're not trying to be a millionaires with this, but what we are trying to do is stay encouraged to do this. The only way we can be encouraged, you got to keep showing that love. I think my brother gets the energy for it. You know what I'm saying? I know I get the energy because my thing is I don't want to let you down. I could be over there hanging out with him, but he ain't going to let me do that knowing that we got to do this. And he trusts me to do this. And I want him to trust me to do this. Because I want y'all to keep doing what you're doing, and that is keep showing up. Until Tuesday, I'm out of here. Deuces. You know I got to have the music and the pump music and everything on the way out. So y'all ride with me as I do this.